through here. Deer, otter, bobcats, a wolf,
Goose.
geese. There's always something killing something down here.
What a great thought. Nels J.
If you never knew what an ice eater was, now you do.
So that's what you put down behind and keeps the water flowing?
Yeah, you keep it down about 4 or 5 feet. You put we run 6 of these things.
Really?
In the ice season. On this boat, this is the tow line.
Holy buckets. That's like twice the size of the other one?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, it's just it's an older style, but it's got a huge braking strength, and this particular tug produces a lot of horsepower. So he's a little dirty. We haven't done any of our spring cleaning. And of course, this one also has incinerates.
Oh yes, your
My famous crab zapper.
crab zapper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes. This is there it is. Huh.
This boat's pretty well insulated.
Yeah, it's actually quite pleasant. You have a nice shower in here too.
Yeah.
You guys use the showers?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it looks like you do. Yeah.
Nice thing.
I like the switches. Explosion proof.
This area here is our day room. Before you guys see the VCR, disc, whatever. And it's got a full galley.
Oh my.
Yeah.
That's bigger than a kitchen in some houses.
Yeah.
Or apartments at least.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is a seagoing tug, you know.
Huh. You guys use it often?
No.
No.
Not up here.
Well, a little bit.
Yeah.
Pop-Tarts. So this one was a military one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. This was built out on the west coast.
So Edward was military, and this one and Helen wasn't.
And Helen wasn't.
Okay.
And the old Edward was military.
Of course, you'd probably get a well taken care of vessel when you have a military.
Yeah, you do.
This one's got a door to the engine room instead of a hatch.
And you gotta have 2 ways in and out. Legally.
Well, I suppose just like any other building, fire code.
We haven't done any housekeeping in here lately. We've been a little busy doing other things. Okay,
So this is the 4,000 horsepower.
this is a 4,000 horsepower EMD turbo. It's a 20-cylinder turbo. At full song, she will make 4,000 horsepower.
At full song, how many RPMs?
900. And
Just
you,
900 RPMs.
yeah. You can run it up a little tighter than that, but 900. And this one happens to have a 710 blower on it, turbocharger. So she pumps a little more air. That, what's in here, in this box right here, this little square box right there, yeah, that's where all the air controls are. And there are specific air valves that operate inside there.
Uh-huh.
And that's all adjusters, so you can adjust the engagement, and disengagement of the gearbox. This gearbox is really expensive here at this folk.
I would say that looks like a no-touch.
We've got a piston pump, and we've got a regular gear pump that operates our steering system. Our steering system, it's on all these boats you don't have to, but you do for safety reasons. You have 2 complete steering systems, so you don't. You've got to have redundancy. This one, that's a carrier bearing. Okay. When you go out past there, then it's got a dripless seal, so no water comes in because it's oil lubricated. Nice and clean, huh?
Very.
Not a rust muffin. And back here, of course, you've got your big Quincy's air compressors. These are 10 horse apiece. You own one of these things, you have for a lifetime.
Really?
Yeah, Quincy is top of the line. These are some pretty good sized ones. And it takes an awful lot of air to fill these tanks.
What's the pressure on those tanks? What do you guys?
200, we pump it to 200.
200. Wow.
Yeah. You pump more, or hydro for more than that. Okay.
That's the good part.
Now, this is a prelude system. And we also can, there's an oil tank right underneath here of fresh lubricating oil.
Right underneath our
Right
walkway?
underneath here.
Okay.
And,
hence the...
yeah, and it's about 1,500 gallons. Then underneath that is a 4,000 gallon fuel tank on that side, a 4,000 gallon fuel tank on that side.
8,000 gallons.
In which they are full.
At how much a gallon?
$3.
$3 a gallon.
So we can pull oil out of our tank and deliver it directly to the engine. Now this engine has an oil pan, but the real oil pan on this thing is behind the transmission. Yes. The real oil pan is back here. And this engine and its whole oil system is, that is our oil reservoir there. Now with the engine oil pan and this sump, it holds 600 gallons of oil, lubricating oil. This is oil for the big capstan.
That's up front.
The big capstan and the low cap. There's a little one up front. No, there's a big towing.
Okay, the big
machine
one,
in the back.
which we'll see in a bit.
And then over there is the hydraulic tank for the steering, and it's huge also. One of those 2 bungs on it,
Mm-hmm.
right there.
How many gallons is that steering tank?
Oh, that steering tank is probably
500 or?
close to 500.
Yeah, almost looks like the size of the oil tank at a house.
This is a little less. Typically with the EMDs, these are your blowdown valves. And every time you go to roll this motor over before you start,
Yep, it's just like the other one. You gotta.
you loosen all of them up, you crank them over, make sure that you don't have any fluid coming out of any of them. And then when you do start, you go around and you would open this valve, okay, like this, and you'd go around, open every one, crack every one, and then you'd feel it. You had hot gases coming out of here, the cylinder is firing.
Oh, so that kind of answers my next question. So you run down them, you get them all open before you turn her over. You start turning her over, and then you start closing them individually?
Closing them all up, and then you go around and then you open each one up, check for fire, make sure that each cylinder is firing. Because if you've got a dead cylinder,
she's just going to fill up.
Well, that is one thing, but if on a 2-cycle engine like this, you got to have compression, you got to have explosion in order to keep the rod against the crankshaft. Because all the pressure on the crank is going down, you know.
How many filters on this one for the fuel system?
Oh, this one has got actually only 4.
Only 4. Well, Helen had 3.
Actually, this has got 6 if you count the regular engine filters.
So
yeah, these recourse
filter.
Yeah. Now these are 471 4-valve Detroits. They're probably about 160 horse apiece, the gensets.
Oh, turn around, Paul.
And always on a harbor boat, you have at least one with electric start. The rest of them could be air, but you always want that one with electric start.
Just in case your air system's gone?
Just in case your air system
Back
is
up.
down, so you can always get started and build air.
So these are the same?
These are the same.
One's electric, one's air.
Yep. This one has got, and we've had to change and put in different kinds of power because we have 480 power on the dock here. Well, this boat was at 208 3-phase. So we put a transformer in. We put that switch gear there. You can see here, 208 3-phase for shore power. That's when we're in Duluth or at our own dock. You got 480 shore power down here, and you switch this up, and then it goes to generator power. So that's your transformer there, and of course you've got your breaker box,
Your switch gear here, yeah.
switch gear here, and then you have a 460 going to that panel there for the electric heaters that are on board to heat the galley, heat the pilot house,
Yeah.
and so on.
And it's nicely labeled.
Yep.
So anybody can come here and look and see. What does she feed?
All of your fuel is mounted, or is labeled with yellow.
Yeah, I was going to say everything yellow is fuel. Red will be your fire.
Yep.
And this is a pump. This is your fire pump?
That's a fire pump.
My goodness.
That's an 871, about 325 horsepower or so, maybe a little more. And that pump there will pump 3,500 gallons a minute. This one has 3 monitors on it, those deck-mounted monitors, and we can shoot water right over the ore docks here.
So this is also, you can control the boat from down here.
Well, you can't steer it from down here.
No, but you could power it.
Forward, reverse.
I suppose it might be hard to steer when you can't see.
Yeah. So when you start this one, as soon as you get air pressure up, you punch this button here, and that's for your soak down pump. So what you're doing is you're pre-oiling the turbocharger.
Okay.
And when it gets done cycling, which takes about 12 minutes, then that'll shut off, and then you push the button, you crank the main engine over, and then shut all your shutdowns. Make sure that you have this little red button here in, and then you basically are giving it throttle manually here, like this. See how that moves,
Okay, yeah, I
moves
remember the
that-
throttles from
yeah,
yesterday too,
yeah,
same
that
thing.
moves the rack, you hit the starter, and when she hits, then you would just wait till the governor takes over. And we're idling about 325.
Filter, and these are filters too,
These
huh?
are engine oil filters.
You got more filters for oil or engine oil than for engine
Fuel.
fuel. I suppose that engine's got to be just spick and span inside.
We want to keep them clean. Any other questions down here? Oh, one other feature. This is an oil clarifier. This little thing right here.
All right. What's
And
in
that
it?
orange one back there, that's a pump. So what that is doing, it's taking our engine oil and we are pulling it in through that gear, coming up here, and then it is spinning. There's an air motor in there, and it's spinning centrifuge, and it's spilling impurities out of the oil.
Anything that's heavier than the oil gets tossed
That's
away.
right. It gets tossed away. You shut everything down, drain it down, take this out, and then you clean this drum, and all of that stuff is in there. Check one out. You won't like hearing this. Let's see. Stay right there.
Staying here.
And when this thing starts going nuts, push this red button down here.
Silence, alarm, acknowledge. Okay. Just like a fire alarm panel.
You got it. You like that one?
Yeah, it was a little louder than I thought. Should have paid attention to that horn right above me.
Those quarters here, like I say, they're not used very often, but they are there. We can make up the beds in a short period of time and go.
Oh yeah. Do you have heat on in this boat right now?
Yeah. Now, these two rooms are exactly the same. So we haven't bothered hanging up the charts anymore down here.
Oh yeah.
But this was basic captain's quarters, and
Look at the flooring here.
yeah, this part of the house is decked out really nice.
Sure is.
There's all kinds of electrical gear underneath here. This boat has got autopilot, and of course it's a thruster boat. No, older radar set, but it's really good. That's a 36-mile radar, and it works real well. So over here you've got depth sounder, you've got GPS, you've got marine radio, you've got a GPS. Over here you've got another marine radio, another GPS, you've got your hailer, and another marine radio. So we're radioed up. Now the
Joysticks?
well, yeah, those are kind of joysticks, but those are for you've got your steering levers.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You got your steering lever over on your left and your right, and then you got your throttle and your shift steering throttle.
Gotcha.
This one's got onboard computer, keyboard, whatnot, and actually that's when you take all the deck jackets out there, that's not a bad place to lay down and take a snooze back there either, because generally it's pretty quiet up in the pilot house.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go faster, you go faster, but first of course you got to lower it, and all this can be done right from here. You can start this thing, you can drop the bow thruster down, you can pull it back up, but we generally do the thruster from down to startup, because you want to see oil pressure, you want to see this. Even though we've got an alarm system, it's just a safe way to do it.
Just to cover yourself. Yep.
That's right. So if you want to go forward, one click. You want to go over that way, you just keep turning. You want to go backwards, you're going backwards. You want to go to your starboard side, you twist over there. You want to go forward again, and
You can do a 360.
360. You can turn this boat around in 360 degrees in 15 seconds.
So it's almost like a zero turn radius.
That's right, without a twin screw. This boat is called a combi. This,
Oh my.
is just part of it. You see the force motors here, all the diodes, all the stuff here.
Yeah.
That has to do with the thruster. And of course, we've got a fire alarm panel.
Oh yes.
Hot electric.
Hot electric, yep. Familiar with that as well.
Familiar with that as well.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's go down and we'll take a look at the thruster room. You'll want to see that. This is the stern thruster, or the bow thruster. This is an Aquamaster. This is kind of it's an unusual system to have in a tugboat, but for harbor work, this thing is really hard to beat because of the maneuverability. Now you can operate this boat, you can tow from the bow of this boat, you can tow from the stern of this boat. And we have a house up and back that has all the same controls that are in the pilot house. So you can tow and drive this boat backwards.
Oh my. I see.
Coupled up, ready to go. Start the engine and off we go. This is 800 horsepower. And then we're bringing up again with a depth pumping back. So we're using that. We're using that to cool that unit and the main engine through this heat exchanger here. It's kind of fun to watch this thing work, isn't it?
Actually it is. Could you tell?
That's more electronics.
Well, PLC's all over God's creation.
That's what she was in the original configuration. Absolutely.
Okay, and there's the control.
This is your makeup oil, lube oil for the thruster, your bits, and towing forward, of course. And you got that big tow line there. You want to have something to haul it in. That's what that's for.
That's what the caps is
All
for.
the fittings and so on. It's a pretty darn clean boat.
All your boats are clean.
Hmm?
All your boats are clean. I like this. This is your, like on the Helen, you had that little
Training wheels.
training wheels.
This one's got a lot of rubber protection on it, and we took a lot of rubber off of this boat. It had a double bow fender on it before. We took that off to get that big pudding back in.
Mm-hmm.
And then we took off the bottom rubber, most of it, definitely the stuff that was underwater. We took that all off because we're going to be running in some icy conditions, and it just chews it all up anyway.
Gotcha.
The monitors on it. You got a monitor here, you got a monitor there, and you got a big monitor up on top of the pilot house up there. And when I say we can shoot water right over that ore dog, I'm not kidding.
Yeah, you got a much bigger back deck here. Oh, look at that. Somebody was eating.
I'll tell you what, about everything gets killed down here.
And they hopped on your boat. I wonder if they had
yeah,
if they had a twit
there's
card.
an otter up here, and he's hungry all the time. So the line comes around here. Make a few wraps on here. There's your hydraulic control there. And we just put brand new speakers on this thing for the hailer, so that's the name of it for. This is what happens when you push the throttle all the way. that's what's left of a tow line.
What was the poundage on the braking?
I don't know. She's probably it got a pretty good snap to it, but I would say she's probably 300,000. So in there, of course, this is going to the engine room.
Yep.
This is where we keep all of our tools, our torches. In there is some tools, welding machine. We've got torches and welding machine on this boat. In there is like a 20 horsepower blower, like that whole big circle there.
Yep.
That's a fan.
Okay, so that's
blowing engine in warm weather down into the engine.
I'm right behind you. I was just doing a circle. Air conditioning. That's solid up there? Okay. On top of the world. Oh yeah, look at another one.
Rocks coming off the Ojard.
I was wondering where those rocks are coming from, and I see them on here too.
You can see how dusty things get in here.
Oh yes.
But this has got the same exact controls as we have in the wheelhouse. This gauge right here tells you where your thruster is, and what you do when you're operating this one, you can drive this boat in reverse.
Okay, right from here.
You can push in reverse. You just here, you're operating this forward, and then you're using your rudder and also your thruster.